With the NFL season reaching its halfway mark, many teams are already out of it and preparing to unload some unwanted pieces. Meanwhile, you have the contenders looking for what best and most efficient way to accumulate those pieces and turn them into valuable assets. Some teams are out looking for the right pieces, while some are look to add the wrong pieces. Find out what wrong piece was added just yesterday on Gridiron Gab Pro Style.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned.
Come on, Dirt! Don't do it! Woo! No way! Woo! 85! Crying out loud! You're making me, you're driving me nuts!
But behold.
Welcome back, you gabbers. Thank you all so much for joining us yet again. As per se, I am Mr. CeeLo, joining you yet again. And guys, I got to tell you, I have had so many problems, it just seems, with this channel. I had yet another show that I had uploaded, was preparing for upload, and it got my hard drive just, I don't know. But anyway, I'm here with you today. I'm going to have predictions for week number 9 coming up here shortly. Well, as you guys know, we're at that pinnacle point now. You've got the trade deadline less than a week away. You've got teams that have checked out for this season or presumably checked out. And you've got teams that are looking to enhance its Super Bowl championship run. And, of course, you know which team I'm about to talk about. But I got a problem with this. The first, and of course the trade I'm talking about was the trade between the Baltimore Ravens and the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm all for getting a valuable asset that is going to improve your team. However, we've seen darn near in every game that Lamar Jackson is the prime weapon in games. The Ravens either lose or they come close to losing. In this previous matchup, they lost this game. Derrick Henry didn't touch the ball 15 times. If I remember correctly, he touched it 11 times. Harbaugh, Monken. This is why I have a problem with Lamar Jackson being in the MVP race this year. You have to win games when you're performing at a high level. Everybody in the league knows, and this is what I don't understand. Derrick Henry should be touching the football 20 times a night. If you stop him 19 times, guess what? Ask the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were victimized by this team so many times. I'm going to tell you, at least a third of his highlights are against the Jaguars. You can't even deny that. This is a guy that loves playing against the Jaguars. He's probably disappointed that he got the Ravens instead of somebody within the division. Or he couldn't go to somebody in the division. But I'm telling you, this has got to be one of the worst trades for both teams. Because now you add a weapon that's not a bad weapon, I'm not saying that, that you don't need. No. If you try to make this a spread offense with featuring Derrick Henry, you ain't winning no Super Bowl.
Stop the cap.
I'm telling you right now, you won't win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson throwing for 300 yards.
What?
You won't. I don't understand why this narrative they're attempting to push this. It showed you in the 2 games that you lost, if Lamar Jackson throws for 300, it better be because Derrick Henry has over 100 yards on the ground. You're not going to win with just Lamar Jackson throwing for 300. This is why I did not understand this trade. Now, I'm going to get to the Panthers side of it in a minute. But right here, what are you doing? This is just another mouth that the offensive coordinator's got to feed. Who signed off on this? I don't get it. You lost every game because you didn't feed the beast the ball. And I was going to make that clear on my show that of the wrap up of last week. This is not even up for debate. Henry should touch the ball 10 times in the first half, 10 times in the second half. I don't care if all you run is 10 plays. He better be the one that's touching the ball. Why is it so hard to understand? See, this is what cost you the AFC title game last year. Harbaugh, Monken. You'd be undefeated like the Chiefs if you just gave the ball to Henry. What? I mean, are you going to say, oh, well, we're just trying to preserve him for the playoffs? What are you going to say when it's the AFC title game or the AFC division when he don't touch the ball? I mean, I want to hear it. You know, I really want to hear what the explanation. I really want to know what the explanation for this is because the reality of it is, it's getting redundant now. Because what's starting to happen, you're starting to see more and more and more and more just neglect of not doing the smart thing when it comes to this coaching staff. And it's getting downright blatant. The reality of it is, you've heard it many times over what you need to do. What is the best formula for your team's success? And I've seen it on SportsCenter, I've seen it on Speak, I've seen it on almost every sports show that I can watch. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. Yet, Lamar Jackson throws it 38 times. Henry runs it 11 times. But here's back up. I want y'all to look at this. 73 yards.
Dumb shit. Dumb shit.
That's over 6.5 yards a carry. So what excuse do you have for not giving him the football?
What a dumbass.
I just want to know. I really do. I really do. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, he got 39 of them on one run. Okay, so that leaves 10 carries, right at 3.3 yards a carry, which you can't live with 3.3 yards a carry. I could. 3.3, guess what? You'll be 4th in inches. 4th in inches on average. Sometimes it'll be first down. Just saying. But then you bring in another mouth to feed. And here's the other thing. I will say this. You didn't lose anything at all. You gained something. Because now, given the fact that you got him and the Panthers are footing some of the bill, that's right. They're footing some of his salary for the remainder of the season. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And you also got their 6th round pick. And all you had to give up was your high-end 5th. Well, excuse me, low-end. It's actually a bad pick. And the Panthers got a 6. So basically all you did was move up a couple of spaces if you're the Panthers. And then you gave him Deontay Johnson, who has shown that he can be a huge contributor, which it won't do them any good. I'm just telling you, I don't see this being a good pick for the Ravens. I think they ultimately just got another guy that could scare the defense. I don't think he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be heavily featured. Heck, he might even get traded by the Ravens. Which leads me to the Carolina Panthers. Ravens, not a good trade for you. I don't care what any of these analysts say. Not a good trade for you because it's taking food out of Henry's mouth. Who is your cowbell? You still ain't got it. Harbaugh, you still ain't got it, Monken. Now, to the Carolina Panthers and Dan Morgan and whoever signed off on this. What are you thinking? You got Houston that needs a wideout with the Stephon Diggs injury. Then you have to look at Buffalo maybe wanting to add another receiver to go with Amari Cooper. Just saying, not saying that's all written in stone, but I'm just throwing it out there. Cleveland, if with Jameis Winston can get them on a run, it's not all but dead. New England might want to make a move. All of the possibilities out there. All of the possibilities that are out there. The Chargers could possibly make a move. The Saints might make a move. Even the Commanders, they need another target. They could make a move. And even the Cowboys could make a move. And you make a decision like this. Don't even wait till the trade deadline. Heck, the Cardinals could even make a move. And I just don't understand what was the impulsive decision here. What made this happen? You still had the weekend and you had Monday and Tuesday. What are you doing? It's like if you don't do anything else, use the Ravens as leverage. Use them as leverage. Do you honestly think, above all things, even with Pittsburgh's another name you could throw in there. You could have gave them back to Pittsburgh. I'm sure Pittsburgh would have been glad considering Donte Jackson's balling out this year. And then you can turn around and get him back. Just saying. And look at what you did. You see, I'm a man that believes in getting value for what I get. Or what I give away. You gave away Donte Jackson for Deontay Johnson. Okay, smooth, cool. I gotta at least get something in return. All I do is I move up a couple of picks. And it's in the 5th round? You ain't fixing to tell me Houston, Pittsburgh, or Tampa Bay. And people will say, well, you don't trade within your division. The heck you say. If I'm tanking, I don't care. Tampa Bay is riddled with injuries at the wide receiver, and they can use one. I'm throwing names out there. The reality of it is, Deontay Johnson played well enough to get you at least a mid third, or possibly a 4th. You just gave him away for nothing. You basically negotiated with Baltimore to take him off your hands. What? I don't understand, Morgan. What are you doing? But either way, this deal was a disaster for both teams. Even though Baltimore got a steal, they don't need him. All he's going to do is be a ruckus in that locker room because he doesn't understand. He's not going to be the number one priority in that locker room. Maybe on nights when Monken and Harbaugh want to say, let's make Lamar Jackson the MVP. He's not the top of the MVP list. Because I can tell you why. When they're winning, King Henry's getting the ball. When you look at Lamar Jackson's numbers, it is synonymous with whether Derrick Henry is over 100 yards or he's touched the ball 15 to 20 times. If Henry does that, they win. It's not a matter of whether Lamar Jackson throws for 300. Doesn't matter. All he needs is 100 yards rushing. That is all they need. And the reality of it is, whether people want to admit this or not in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson may have his name on this team, but I can tell you right now, when they're successful, Derrick Henry's running the football, and they've got 3 losses to prove it. I'm gonna be straight up transparent with all of you. You don't want to believe me? You don't have to. We can sit here and we can go down the list and look at what this team has done. When we look at the Kansas City game, box score. Derrick Henry, grand total of 13 carries, 46 yards. Now, this is with Lamar Jackson, over 300, almost 400 yards of total offense, ladies and gentlemen. And they lost. And they lost. Las Vegas Raiders, people. Let's look at it. Let's look at it, shall we? Let's look at it. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Derrick Henry, 18 carries. 84 yards and a touchdown. But he had 18 touches, but he didn't have 100 yards. But let's look at Lamar Jackson. He had 34 pass attempts for 247. You give that ball to Henry a couple more times, you might actually win this game. Let's go back and look at, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, which was a close football game, which it was, but it wasn't. Again, the Cowboys made up pace after the Ravens had called off the dogs. Henry, 25 carries, 151. 2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't have to add the touchdowns in there, but it just kind of speaks to what I'm referring to. Everybody knows when you give Henry the football, good things are bound to happen. 24 times, 199 against the Bills. I'm going to go to one more game, and that was the Cincinnati game. And everybody remembers how that one went, don't we? Jackson threw for 348 and 4 scores, but Henry finally touched that ball the 15th time, and they were fortunate. Look at this. Jackson had 348 and 4 touchdowns. They needed a Derrick Henry breakaway to finish the game off. I don't know how much more plain I've got to make it to Todd Monken and John Harbaugh. Give the ball to Henry. Once again, not a good deal for either team, in my opinion. The Ravens didn't need him, but they got to steal with him. He wasn't an inconvenient thing if it turns out they don't have to use him. But hit me up in the comments, you guys. Every time you join the channel, please make sure you hit in the comments so I can know who you are. Also, go to Gridiron Gab Pro Style over on Facebook and let me know what you guys are thinking. What stories do you want me to follow up on? Also, go to Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and tell me what you guys are thinking, as well as check me out and see what other things I got going on. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.
Whatever it takes to get in that end zone! Yeah, go!